Right, so it doesn't seem like 2 minutes since I was reviewing that there Super Meteor 650 in blue, and so taken was I by that bike, given that cruisers are not really in my DNA, but so taken was I by that bike that I finally succumbed. So here we are. This is my just picked up now at Appleyards, my Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650 Celestial, with the screen and the backrest and the better seat. And when I get home, I'll be putting some engine bars on and some pannier frames for the Givi luggage, and then we'll be properly set for touring. Welcome to my world. Look at that, God bless Appleyards, a decent amount of fuel in there. And forward controls, remember? Always a nervous endeavour, your first ride on a brand new bike. But, it's always was one of the most magical moments in your motorcycling life is when you pick up a bike, whether it's a brand new bike like this or whether it's just a bike that's new to you. It sort of defines your motorcycling life, moments like this. So yeah, the Bingley Wheeler on a cruiser, who would have thought? But she stole my heart. Those of you that have seen my review out of Appleyards of the two reviews that I did of the Super Meteor, the standard Super Meteor, I'm sure it was not lost on you that I was more than a little impressed. And in terms of looking at a compromise that kept all my Royal Enfield fans happy, both the 350 fans and the Interceptor fans, and those that generally pretty much said, well, it doesn't matter to us which bike you take out, we're here for the content, but we do like the Royal Enfields. So given that I had to come down to two bikes, I think that the Interceptor and the Classic 350 will be going to other grateful owners, I am sure, who will look after them. I think it's more than appropriate that the Super Meteor sits alongside the Pan-European. Yeah, so if you're in the market for a 1-year-old, very well accessorised, very well looked after Royal Enfield Interceptor 650 in chrome and red, or Royal Enfield Classic 350 in halcyon green, those two bikes, my two Royal Enfields that you may have seen so much of on the channel, are now in the hands of Appleyards in Keighley. And if you've been watching my channel, you'll know how much I've looked after those bikes. They're still under warranty. They've wanted for absolutely nothing. They've got most of the upgrades that I put on that you've seen on the channel are still on those bikes, not all. but most. So if you're interested, give Appleyards a bell, ask to speak to Kieran, and grab yourself a bargain, because they're both cracking bikes. And like I say, I know if you've been watching this channel, you'll know how much I've looked after those bikes. Both still under the full Royal Enfield warranty, both fully serviced and up to date, and well worth a look if that's what you're in the market for. Now, normally the rule of thumb, certainly for the Interceptor and Continental GT, the rule of thumb is not to exceed 4,000 RPM on this 650 parallel twin for the first 300 miles. Easier said than done, because there ain't no rev counter on this, unlike those other two bikes where there is a rev counter. But when you've been motorcycling for as long as I have, you do get a sixth sense about these things, so it's just about not taking liberties with the engine. And I'm just going to say I won't exceed 60 miles per hour until that first service is out of the way. And that'll be the general principle I'll be adhering to in terms of running in. So yeah, the question is answered. And for those of you that love to see the Royal Enfields weaving their way majestically through the English countryside, particularly the northern English countryside, particularly God's own county of Yorkshire, I will have plenty of content to tickle your fancy on this bike. She will be cosseted, coated in every protective substance known to mankind, waxed, polished, but not the engine casings this time. I don't have to worry about that. Cerakote on these. But yeah, I will take this bike out through winter. The only exception will be when it's wet and salty, but otherwise I'll be out on this bike, I assure you, going to all those fantastic places that I get so much pleasure from sharing with you. But I'm always rather nervous of any new bike that I have that doesn't have the engine bars fitted, the crash bars. In the past I've always had bikes delivered, because I've usually got them from dealerships sort of all over the country, depending upon who's offering the best deal at the time. But of course that's really not necessary with Appleyards being just down the road from me. So yeah, normally when I've had them delivered, first thing I've done is put crash bars on, so I've never ridden them until the crash bars have been put on. So I'm riding like a budgie with chaplets at the moment. So what upgrades will there be on this bike? Well, the ones that I know about are the ones I've already got from Hitchcock's, and that's the Givi engine bars, a bit of protection, and the Givi luggage panniers, because I have the Givi semi-rigid luggage that was on the Interceptor. I couldn't swap the frames over because this is a different frame altogether to the Interceptor, so there'll be those to put on. And I'll probably put some spotlights on, attach those to the engine bars, and I imagine, or maybe no, not heated grips, heated gloves. I'm not going to put heated grips on these because I love these Royal Enfield grips, these here grips. So possibly the Stadium bar end mirrors. I don't need to put new adjustable levers on, because unlike the Interceptor and the Classic, the Super Meteor comes with adjustable brake and clutch levers. All good, so no point in changing those. But maybe the Stadium bar end mirrors, we will see. Probably after its first service, the DNA Stage 2 air filter. Exhaust I'm going to have to think about, because these stock ones sound pretty good for an OEM exhaust, I have to say. What's a character? And there may be other sort of minor embellishments, but other than that, the build quality and the fit and finish on this bike is to such a very high standard now. I think Royal Enfield have absolutely nailed it with the fit and finish on this bike. It's of a different order to my Interceptor. I appreciate the new Interceptors have this switchgear, this upgraded metal cased switchgear, and also the adjustable brake and clutch levers. But so there's, you know, in that respect they are slightly better than the original incarnation of the Interceptor, but I have to say, not quite to this standard, because this feels far more premium than its, what, 7,200 and odd, whatever it was, price tag would imply. If it had a different badge on, you'd certainly believe you could be on something like a Harley Davidson. So I'm going to wend my way home now, garage this bike, look at it, thinking about how it's going to feature on the channel going forward, hoping and praying that nobody's going to unsubscribe on the back of the other two bikes going. But I've racked my brains for the past week or two since I got all the feedback, thank you very much, on the channel. And you know, I've been through all the sorts of different thoughts about which permutations might result in people perhaps unsubscribing, because they were Classic 350 fans or Interceptor fans. I hope that won't be the case, because I think this bike has the best of both of those bikes to offer. So that's it. I have a Royal Enfield 650 Super Meteor in Celestial Red, the top of the range model, the biggest and best bike that Royal Enfield currently make, and I'm very happy indeed. So watch out for more trips out and other bits and bats in relation to this bike. Right then, so here we are from Royal Enfield Interceptor and Royal Enfield Classic 350 to this here brand new and my Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. This, the top of the range, the touring edition with the upgraded seat and the backrest, and I've proceeded to fit Givi crash bars and the Givi luggage, as you can see here, to make this the consummate cruiser stroke tourer. And there were me implying for all the world that I want a cruiser guy. Well, we can all be a convert, can't we? The logic of this really, and thanks once again for all your really constructive and helpful comments about where I should go with the channel in terms of dropping to two bikes. And based on a sort of aggregation of all those comments, I arrived at this decision, because this bike is a bit classic and it's a bit Interceptor. So why not? And thanks for everybody that played the old guessing game about how this was all going to end up. Now, to win the whole English pound prize, not only did you have to name the correct bike, you had to name exactly what the final outcome was, what the remaining two bikes were. And the first person to do that was Kevin Darkstar, your handle on YouTube, Kevin Darkstar. You are the winner of a whole English pound, so if you'd be kind enough to email me with your postal address, I will send it on to you. And there were some very, very close encounters with the correct answer, and one that came very early on that said, you've got a Super Meteor 650 in beautiful red and white. Yeah, but you had to go further, I'm afraid. Excellent guess. And whether it was a guess or whether it was based on deductive reasoning and close attention to my channel, I don't know, but well done. But unfortunately, you didn't go on to say which bikes had been exchanged, if you like, moved on to accommodate this bike. So the two bikes are the Honda ST1300 Pan-European staying, and new to the garage, the Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650 Celestial Red. So hope that was of some interest to you. Kevin, this is your prize. It is a whole English pound from the 1960s. The 1960s being, of course, the British motorcycling era on which just about all of the Royal Enfields are based and to which they are dedicated. This is a brand spanking new uncirculated banknote from the Bank of England from the 1960s. Never been in circulation, mint condition, not a crease on it. It's worth far more than £1. Trouble is you can't spend it really. You could sell it, but you can't spend it. I just thought quite appropriate that. So Kevin, let me have your address. Well done again, and I'll send you this here, brand spanking new 1960s, genuine, not forged, genuine Bank of England £1 note. There you go. All right then, thanks again for watching. Hope you approve, or at least don't fundamentally disapprove of the decision that I've arrived at, and I look forward to taking you around our fabulous local Yorkshire countryside on this bike, as well as the Pan-European. If you want an excellent used, year-old, still under warranty chrome Interceptor or Halcyon Green Classic 350 with a number, though not all, of the accessories that you'll have seen me fit, then get in touch with Appleyards in Keighley. If you've been watching this channel, you know that I look after those bikes, and no expenses spared on them, and they are both in absolutely mint condition. So if you're after either or both of those bikes that I used to own until very, very recently, you can be confident that not only you're getting a bike under warranty, but you're getting a bike that's been thoroughly well looked after and in pristine condition. So there we go. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, ride safe, be kind, and I'll catch you soon. Toodle pip.